whatever it is, I'm very well aware of my physical appearance and my whiteness. For better or for worse. For better or for worse. White privilege is real. Do not be fooled. White privilege is real. It's real, real. And I'm going to squeeze every ounce of it that I can. Trust me. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This ain't a page. This is a YouTube channel. Some might even call it a YouTube experience. Okay? Subscribe, rate, review, leave a comment, ask a question. I look and read at them all. Boom. Welcome to the Iron Dome of Disruption. Welcome to the Ziggity Zone of Disruption. Welcome to the world's most disruptive podcast. The name is Michael Rapaport, a.k.a. the Gringo Mandingo, a.k.a. the Smiling Sultan of Sniff, a.k.a. the Inflamed Ashkenazi, a.k.a. the Raging Hope everybody's feeling good. Hope everybody's feeling safe. Hope everybody is feeling sane. Iron Rapaport Stereo Podcast coming live and direct from New York City. Back. Boom. Back in the New York groove. I am Rapaport Stereo Podcast. Hope everybody had a great Easter. Heroes. Hope everybody is having a great Ramadan. And I hope everybody is having a great Passover. Full transparency, my wife and I had a Passover celebration the other night, Seder. And we read the pamphlets. You know, there's pamphlets. When you're Jewish, you got to read pamphlets. I don't know where she got these pamphlets from. It's the same pamphlets everybody reads. It's different. Some people have different color coordinations. But it's the first time I had read these pamphlets out loud in a long time, and I got to tell you something. I'm gonna be honest. Those Passover pamphlets, some of the literature I was reading was a little confusing and a little concerning. Little concerning, some of this information. Listen. I am a proud Jew, proud Jewish man. I am by no means, I know more about fantasy football. I'm going to tell you all the things I know more about than being a Jew. I'll list 10 things off right now quickly without thinking that I know more about than being Jewish. I know more about ice cream, sushi. I know more about fantasy football. I know more about Major League Baseball. I know more about the history of Major League Baseball, and I know nothing about Major League Baseball. I know more about the NBA, reality TV shows. I know more about classical music, let alone the other genres of music. I know more about, I'd say I probably know as much about classical music as I actually know about the historical context of being Jewish. I think that was 9 things. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I know more about French cinema by far and Italian cinema than I know more about being Jewish. That being said, reading the Seder pamphlets for Passover this year, I have to go back and reread what I read quietly because we were reading it out aloud as we were eating and such and drinking the wine and such. And, every Jewish person can interpret Judaism as they want. That's one of the great things about being Jewish. I can't say the same for other religions because I know less about other religions than I know about being Jewish. And based on what I just told you, I know very little about the historical context. I know the historical, like the history of being a Jew. I'm just going to say this. In these pamphlets that we were reading Passover, and like I said, I haven't read these pamphlets out loud in a very long time. They were talking a lot about the Jews being slaves and the Jews being, having to do a lot of different things. And I have to tell you, based on some of the things that have been discussed the past 6 to 8, 9 months by some people, the thing that stuck out to me was like, okay, so if the Jews were slaves and me being, I'm not as white as it gets, but I'm 22 shades away from being like super, super duper, like pure white. I wouldn't even say 22, maybe 10 shades away from being like the white of all the white. Like the Lindsey Graham white. Like Lindsey Graham is white, pink white. I hope that I'm not that. I know I'm not far away from it. I know some people are probably saying, you ain't that far, 10 shades is, whatever it is. I'm very well aware of my physical appearance and my whiteness. For better or for worse. For better or for worse, white privilege is real. Do not be fooled. White privilege is real. It's real. And I'm going to squeeze every ounce of it that I can. Trust me. But when they were talking in these Passover Seder pamphlets about the Jews being enslaved and needing to be, freed, I wanted to get. I need some either some pictures, some drawings, some Zapruder film, 8mm. I don't know what they had back then, because were these slaves my color? For all intents and purposes, and I know this is the cause of a lot of mishigash. For all intents and purposes, based on what I know, there's never been any documented factual proof that any slaves in any part of history have ever been white. That's not to say that the slave owners, based on the pamphlets that I was reading, were white either. This wasn't like, Mississippi shit. I am just saying that I need to reread and dig a little bit deeper into some of these pamphlets, because some of it, if you're reading it with an open mind and not any sort of being peer pressured or any rabbis breathing down your throat, when you read these pamphlets and this information about the history of Jews and the history of, listen, I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't care what the religion is. I'm not going to name any names, but I have to tell you, I'm Jewish. Okay, I love being Jewish. For me personally, it's more of a spiritual, cultural thing for me. But I got to tell you, and again, I'm not naming any names. These are books. I've said it once, and I've always said it, and there's no one who could tell me that these books that people follow to the T, that people live and die for sometimes, that wars are fought over, that these are literally books that are written by unknown, unnamed, faceless people. And the fact that people to this day and going forward to the end of time will live, die, and follow the beliefs of these books is way out there to me. It's way the fuck out there to me. I mean, really way the fuck out there to me, because you get a guy, I don't want to name any, I'm not going to name any names, but this is not even, okay, L. Ron Hubbard. Okay? No, I'm just saying, let's just say this, Dungeons and Dragons, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, those are all very, books with a lot of imagination. They have, these universes that are created and these rules and these ways of living and all this stuff. I've always said that, in my opinion, like there were some incredibly imaginative, great writers and thinkers back then, and they wrote these books, and they're probably like going, who knew? Who the fuck knew that they would take off the way they did? And they're probably like, who's getting paid off these books? You talk about like musicians being fucked over. Whoever wrote these books for these religions, they're really getting fucked out of a lot of money. Like, who gets the what is it called when you who gets the residuals for the Bible? Somebody wrote that shit. it didn't just float out of the fucking ground, man. The Torah, all of it. I don't want to name names. This didn't just float out of the ground. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Not a YouTube page, it's my YouTube channel. Some might even call it a YouTube experience. Leave a comment, ask a questions. Tell a friend to tell a friend, but leave a comment and ask me a question because I read them all and I might answer back. Thank you.